Hey there, thanks for watching. Today we're going to be causing some damage to this junk panel that we pulled out of the trash. Right here we've got a little plastic tool that we're going to cause some scratch marks on the surface. And as you can see, it's causing some surface scratches, but nothing too deep. And that's going to be something that it's going to be pretty easy to polish out. Here I am causing some more damage with some metal, the blunt end of this tool, and it's scratching through the top layer of the clear coat, enough to pick up with your fingernail. Next, I'm going to go a little bit deeper here on this next series of scratches. I'm going to use the little sharp end of the Phillips head and really trying to get in there. Now I'm going to take the sharp end of the Phillips head and I'm going to compromise all layers of paint, go down to the metal. This one's definitely going to need touch-up paint. There is no buffing that out, no sanding that out either. So if you wanted to, you could sit there with a buffer and just hack away at the paint, but the most efficient way to get to a scratch is going to be by wet sanding. Here we're using 2000 grit sandpaper and some lightly soapy water. So we've finally sanded down to a good level here where you can't see the scratches anymore, and that's going to be where you want to be. You don't want to go too deep. You want to go just far enough to where you can't see the scratches anymore, and then you're going to come back over that with your polishing and your buffing, and that's going to take care of those lighter scratches. Now the issue of the big scratch up here, that's going to require some touch-up paint, as we were talking about before. For the deeper scratch, we're still going to want to sand. You're just going to want to get down to a level where you've knocked off the edges of that scratch, so it's not such a sharp difference between the two areas. And then you're going to come back in with your touch-up pen. And here we're just filling in gently. Going to lay one layer of paint in there, let it dry. And then we're going to come back over and we will put a layer of clear coat, sand that down, and when we're done with it, it should definitely minimize the appearance of the scratch. Something like this, though, there's no way to get around having a little bit of discoloration here. So an important tool in this process can be your paint depth gauge. Now the DIY guy is not going to have this, but if you're a professional detailer, you should be aware of how much clear coat and how much paint you're dealing with on a panel. Alright, we've sanded and we're ready to do our initial cut here, and I'm using a extra cut pad from Meguiar's along with my Rupes orbital buffer here, and it's mowing down the sand marks pretty good. It's a pretty aggressive setup with the pad being very thin and not having a lot of cushion in between the buffer and the paint, so it's causing a lot of friction and moving around a lot of clear coat at the surface. So this is about as far as we're going to go for this video anyways, but this is after one pass with the buffer. It just shows you the result that you can get. Of course, if we were doing this for a customer, we would do a couple more steps and polish this out to where it's not quite as hazy. Of course, that is just from being so aggressive with it with the pad and the buffer.